On our wedding night, the husband who had been forced to marry me, Julian, climbed into the same bed in the same tailored suit just to humiliate me. He wrapped his arms around me from behind. Voice glacial. Serena, remember exactly what we are. Don't fall for me. I let out a cold laugh, yet the belt buckle digging into my back made me ache. After he rolled over and fell asleep, I turned in the moonlight and realized he had somehow changed into a silk robe. His body was bare beneath it. No belt in sight. This is a business arrangement in name only. Understand? The instant Julian finished, he killed the bedside lamp. Darkness gulped the room, and the naked disgust on his face. This was my wedding night. I, Serena, had become Julian's wife. The woman his family's balance sheet required him to marry. Naturally, I answered into the black. Voice calm enough for a boardroom. Rest easy, Sterling. I have excellent professional ethics. A faint snort drifted from the pillow behind me. Then a warm, shower-fresh body pressed against my spine. His arm locked around my waist like a steel clamp. I froze. Before I could twist away, the hard drum of his heartbeat thudded against my back through two flimsy layers of silk. His robe, my nightgown, beat after beat, making me lightheaded. Serena, you'd better mean it. He breathed against my ear, cold and electric. Don't forget, my heart already belongs to someone. He meant Olivia. The White Moon first love his family had broken apart because her pedigree didn't pass Sterling's ledger test. Everyone knew I was her stand-in. I shut my eyes, forcing myself to ignore the intimacy of the pose, and let sarcasm drip into my tone. Are you reminding me? Or yourself? The arm around my waist jerked tighter. Do you have to be this sharp-tongued? His voice was low, edged with warning. I offered no reply. We were two ice floes lashed together, touching yet separated by an unbridgeable chill. Apparently bored, he hesitated, then, instead of releasing me, crushed me closer. NGH. A small grunt escaped me. The rigid rectangle of his belt buckle ground against the soft flesh above my hip. Exactly how much did he hate me? Sleeping in full suit armor just to remind me every second that only numbers, not warmth, held this marriage together. Hurts. He caught the tiny catch in my breath, and for a heartbeat something like concern flickered through the ice. I hissed between clenched teeth. Obviously. Silence. Then the pressure vanished. He rolled away, turning his back to me. Sleep. Within seconds his breathing leveled out, long and even. Only the hush of the air conditioner remained. I couldn't close my eyes. My bruised skin pulsed. My chest felt stuffed with wet cotton, heavy, sodden. Quietly I shifted and studied him in the thin moonlight slipping through the curtains. Broad shoulders, narrow waist, unfairly perfect. Wait. My gaze snapped to his waist. He wore the charcoal gray silk robe the housekeeper had laid out that morning. The belt knotted loosely, revealing a taut strip of skin. Robe. So what? Exactly. Had just gouged me. The next morning I trudged downstairs with twin purple arcs beneath my eyes. Julian sat at the table, gold-rimmed glasses low on his nose, scrolling through financial news on a tablet. Every inch the unapproachable titan. He didn't look up. Sit. I slid into the chair opposite. The butler appeared with breakfast. Silence clung like fog, only the clink of silver on porcelain. I swallowed 2 sips of milk and set the glass down. Not hungry. His eyes lifted above the frame of his glasses. Unreadable. Watching calories? I lied. He opened his mouth. His phone vibrated. The instant he glanced at the screen his angular face softened. He rose and walked to the window before answering. Hey, Livy. Soft. Intimate. An octave I'd never heard. I raised the milk to hide behind. Ears straining. I'm done here. Don't worry. Just rest. Yes, I promise. Patient chuckles feathered across the room, scratching at something raw inside me. When he returned, tenderness still lingered like cologne. Urgent meeting. I'm leaving. Sure. I kept my expression neutral. At the door he bent to loosen his loafers. My mouth moved before my brain could leash it, loud enough for him to hear. Give Olivia my regards. And, congratulations on the wedding that actually matters. He froze mid-motion, then straightened slowly. His stare was a pair of ice picks. Serena, warn yourself, aim your gutter tricks anywhere near Livy and you'll regret it. Gutter tricks? I stood, walked toward him step by deliberate step. I'm the legal Sterling. You take midnight love calls in our kitchen and call me the one lacking class? Color drained from his face, then surged back dark. You, what? I tilted my chin to meet his glare. Article 1 of our contract. No extramarital affairs while this marriage exists. Does loving WhatsApp voicemail count? His fists clenched, veins rope tight beneath the cuffs. We stood locked, gunpowder thick in the air. Finally, his fingers uncurled. He pulled a navy velvet box from his inside pocket and flipped it onto the console. What's this? I asked. Compensation. The front door thundered shut behind him. I stared at the closed panel, heart drumming a messy rhythm. Inside the box, A rose diamond cascade I'd last seen under plexiglass at a charity gala, former crown jewel of some minor European dynasty. Its price tag the size of a private jet. Did he honestly believe money could patch everything? I carried the necklace to the kitchen trash and opened my hand. Clink, diamonds kissed stainless steel. Sound icy and final. Just like this marriage. Weekend, the obligatory Sterling family brunch. Julian and I crossed the threshold one after the other, he Arctic. I smiling the corporate smile. Every senior Sterling was present. Sterling spotted me first and beckoned. Serena, come let grandma look at you. I obeyed, settling beside her. Oh, our Serena is stunning. She and Julian are heaven matched. Sterling beamed, patting my hand. I glanced at Julian. His mother had cornered him near the fireplace. His face neutral. Grandma, stop teasing. No teasing at all, Vance chimed in, slipping an arm through mine. Julian hit the lottery marrying you. Vance, legendary for boardroom bloodletting, had always treated me with surprising warmth. She'd never hidden her dislike of Olivia. By the way, Vance added casually, I ran into the Shin girl yesterday, just back from abroad after all these years. Funny, she left perfectly fine overseas and now suddenly returns. My hand, curled around the teacup, froze midair. The atmosphere in the living room turned on a dime. Julian walked over, voice flat. Mom, something came up at the office. Serena and I are heading out. What's the rush? Sterling cut in from the head armchair, authority radiating without raising her voice. You stroll in and bolt. Sit. Now. Julian pressed his lips together, said nothing, and lowered himself onto the vacant cushion beside me. The second he landed, the air pressure around our slice of sofa plummeted. Julian, Sterling began, suddenly sermon soft. You're a married man now. Take care of Serena. Let the past stay buried. Grandmother, I understand, Julian answered, tone unreadable. Good. Sterling sniffed. The Sterlings only accept one daughter-in-law, Serena. Anyone else can sharpen her claws all she wants. She's never crossing our threshold. The jab couldn't have been clearer. I stared at the tea in my cup, pretending to study the swirl of leaves while a storm erupted inside me. The Sterlings are even harder-nosed than I thought. Is bloodline really the only reason they loathe Olivia? Lost in that thought, I felt a nudge under the table, Julian's shoe brushing my ankle. I looked up and met his gaze. A complicated cocktail of warning, apology, and something that felt almost like helplessness. Before I could decode it, he turned away. After dinner, Julian and I headed for the door. Vance caught up, pressed something into my palm, and closed my fingers over it. Serena, keep this. I glanced down, an old flash drive dangling a sun-faded tiny teddy keychain. Aunt Vance, what is it? Julian used it years ago, she murmured, patting my hand. Some truths he's too proud to tell. You're his wife, you deserve to know. Don't let a pretty face fool you. The drive still held her warmth. I clutched it, questions buzzing like hornets. Back at the cavernous, ice-cold Sterling, Julian disappeared into the study. I hesitated, then carried the flash drive to the bedroom and slid it into my laptop. A single encrypted folder blinked back at me. I tried his birthday, wrong. Our wedding anniversary, still wrong. What on earth? My eye snagged on the tiny teddy keychain. A memory clicked. Back in high school, Julian had a golden retriever named Bear. When Bear died, he mourned for weeks, fingers trembling. I typed Bear. Click, the folder opened. Hundreds of photos and a handful of videos. Teenaged Julian and Olivia in school uniforms. Sunlit laughter frozen frame after frame. Young love, impossibly sweet. My heart sank like wet cement. Was Vance trying to warn me off? Show me I'd always be the outsider. I forced a bitter smile and reached to close the folder. Instead, my thumb brushed a video file. It opened, shaky. Covert footage inside a karaoke bar. Olivia draped over a man I didn't recognize. Hands roaming. Liv, you sure? What about Julian? The man asked. Ugh. Drop it, Olivia snapped. His family is a cage, and mommy dearest runs the lock. I'm not walking into that. Besides, your allowance beats his right now. My clever girl, the guy boasted. Once I swipe Sterling's core tech, we'll bolt overseas. Shop till you drop. Promise. No backing out. Cross my heart, babe. End of clip. I sat frozen, goosebumps racing up my arms. So this was the truth. Olivia wasn't some tragic first love. She was a gold digger ready to sell Julian out and loot Sterling trade secrets. Does Julian know? If he does, why the lingering torch? If he doesn't, why haven't the Sterlings told him? My mind spun like a broken carousel. Just then the bedroom door swung open. Julian stepped in, a faint whiskey scent trailing him. When he spotted the paused video on my screen, the color drained from his face. He lunged, slamming the laptop shut so hard the table jumped. Who said you could touch that? Serena. Enjoying the freak show? His voice cracked with self-loathing. Yeah. I'm the idiot who got played. Happy now? I stared at his bloodshot eyes and felt something inside soften. I didn't mean, get out. He stabbed a finger at the door. A low snarl ripping free. It was the first time since our wedding he'd shouted at me. I rose, walked out without a word. The instant the latch clicked, a muffled, animal-sounding sob leaked through the wood. Next morning, an email I never expected landed in my inbox. Ether, top-tier architecture firm, wanted me on the design team for Skirich, the tallest mixed-use tower the city has ever seen. Primary backer, Sterling. I rolled the gold-embossed invitation between my fingers, speechless. Was this Julian's doing? His family's. Serena. Our director adores your break-free thesis. The Ether HR gushed by phone. Its spirit matches Skirich perfectly. Break free was my graduate manifesto. My signature. I never dreamed Riverdale's elite would quote it back to me. Whatever, or whoever, brought it to their desk. I wasn't walking away. I'm Serena. Architect first. Sterling second. Kickoff meeting. Day 3. I stepped into the Ether boardroom and saw Julian at the head table. Client badge clipped to his tailored suit. When our eyes met, surprise flickered across his face before the corporate mask slid back on. Evidently, no one warned him I'd been hired. The entire session ran on pure business. He didn't spare me an extra syllable. After the wrap-up, he blocked my path in the corridor. What are you doing here? Sterling, I replied. Equally formal, I'm one of Skirich's lead designers. Looking forward to working together. He studied me a beat, then smiled, thin, cold. Serena, full-time wife wasn't enough. Now you infiltrate my boardroom to babysit me? Each word stabbed like a splinter. I inhaled slowly. Call HR and request a replacement if my presence bothers you. Otherwise, excuse me. I pivoted away. He caught my wrist, grip tight enough to bruise. You just love fighting me. Huh? I'm doing a job. Julian, the world doesn't revolve around you. Something in my tone loosened his fingers. I tugged free, rubbing the red crescents on my skin, and left him standing under the LED glare. Jaw clenched so hard I thought the bone might crack. I thought he would finally back off, maybe even flex his client muscle and boot me from the project. He didn't. From that day on, we became partners at work. He still threw icy one-liners at me, but on paper he was brutal. Every set of drawings I handed in came back bleeding red. The line work is dead. No life in it. This daylight plan wastes the best view on the site. Serena, is this the standard Ether pays you for? Everyone in the studio could see Julian was gunning for me. Their glances dripped pity. I never defended myself and I never quit. He kicked it back. I revised. Every complaint he made was professional, and each round left the scheme sharper. For weeks the office was home. I clocked out long after midnight. One night I was wrestling with a detail when I noticed the floor was dark except for the lamp over my desk. A paper cup of hot coffee landed quietly beside my mouse. I looked up, startled. Julian stood there in shirt sleeves, cuffs folded to the elbow, forearms hard under the fluorescents. Drink it. Stay awake, he said, voice flat. Thanks. I took the cup. Awkward. He stayed, eyes scanning the drawing. Here. He tapped a joint. Try a mortise and tenon connector. Cleaner look. Stronger node. I stared. That exact problem had tortured me for days. How did you? Minored in architecture. He shrugged like it was nothing. I studied him and realized I'd never really known the man at all. After that night Julian started showing up constantly. He still nitpicked, but now he offered fixes. Our sparring turned into something almost like teamwork. The intern stopped giving me pity eyes and started giving me other eyes. Serena, is Sterling chasing you? Cassie whispered, gossip glowing on her face. I almost sprayed coffee. Stop it. Look. She pointed at the imported antacid tablets beside my screen. He told his assistant to buy you stomach meds when you skipped dinner. Imported brand. Top shelf. I stared at the bottle, stomach fluttering. It was probably just managerial maintenance. Keep the CAD monkey healthy so the project stayed on track. But my heartbeat betrayed me. To celebrate hitting the first milestone, the design director booked a karaoke dive. The client, Julian, actually showed. He didn't sing. He sat in the corner nursing a beer while the rest of us screamed into mics. Somebody spun the bottle. It landed on me. Truth or dare? Serena? Truth. Cassie grinned wickedly. Got a crush on anyone? The room froze. Even the disco ball seemed to stop. In the corner Julian's gaze drilled into me. I clutched the mic. Silence stretching. Faces flashed. Teenage Julian tailing me, calling me Xingjia, drunk Julian whispering another woman's name on our wedding night, merciless Julian circling my drawings in red ink yet leaving coffee at 2 a.m. No, I heard myself say, voice cold enough to frost glass. The room groaned. I laughed, passed the mic. Next, I escaped to the restroom and stared at my washed-out reflection. Why had I lied? The door opened. Julian's reflection appeared behind me. Was that the truth? He rasped. I pivoted, back against cold porcelain. Does it matter to you? He stepped close, caging me between his arms. It matters. He bent until his lips brushed my ear. Because I do. My heart tripped. He has someone. I reminded myself, it's Olivia. Was he boasting? Fury flared. I shoved at his chest. Grow up, Julian. He caught my wrists. Grip steel. I'm childish? A bitter laugh escaped. In your eyes, everything I do is wrong, isn't it, Serena? Raw pain swirled in his yes. I love her. Loved her for years. So what? He ground out. But the woman I married is you. He crushed his mouth to mine. Taste of whiskey. Desperation. Punishment. When I couldn't breathe, he broke away. Foreheads touching. Stop pushing me, he warned. Eyes bloodshot. Then he walked out. Shoulders rigid. I sagged against the sink. Lips burning. Heart shredded. Julian didn't come to the office for days. Relief flickered. Then emptiness. The project raced on until only one competitor remained, Odin, the global giant. Their lead designer was Olivia. At the final presentation, she sparkled in Chanel, laser confident, pitching glass and chrome glamour. When my turn came, I exhaled every private feeling and sold the jury a vision forged from sleepless nights. The vote split. Decision fell to Sterling. Olivia shot the old man a dazzling, certain smile. Sterling never looked her way. He lifted the mic. Ether winds screech. Gasps. Olivia's face drained. She rushed the stage. Why? Grandfather Sterling, where's our flaw? Your scheme is slick, Sterling answered. Arctic calm, but it reeks of billable hours. Not soul. Serena gave me passion. Dreams. The real future of Skirich. He paused, eyes softening toward me. Also, she's my granddaughter-in-law. Sterling projects stay in the family. Olivia stumbled backward, daggers flying at me through tears. Serena, what are you so proud of? Olivia burst into shrill, hysterical laughter. You think you've won. You're nothing but a replacement. I tossed aside. He never loved you. He loves me. I looked at her calmly. So what? The one standing next to him right now is me. You. Olivia's whole body trembled with rage. Just then, the ballroom doors swung open. Julian walked in. He came straight to me, slipped off his tailored suit jacket, and draped it over my chilly shoulders. Then he took my hand, turned, and faced the almost crazed Olivia, enunciating every word. Olivia, I have never loved you. Not before. Not now. Not ever. His words detonated like a bomb. The entire room erupted. Everyone was stunned, including me. Olivia's face drained of color. Her lips quivered, but no sound came out. The only reason I tolerated you, Julian continued, voice cold and even, as if discussing someone else's life, is that years ago my father embezzled company funds and your father covered the whole. That debt is paid. From this day on, you and your family stay out of my sight. Without another glance he led me out, past rows of gaping guests, into the night. I was still dazed when we slid into the back seat of the car. I stared at the man behind the wheel, questions jamming my throat. Ask anything you want. He kept his eyes on the road, tone unreadable. What you said, was it all true? Yes. Then why? Why let me believe the opposite for so long? Why pretend she still mattered? Guilt. He gave a self-mocking tug of his mouth. And I didn't want to drag you into the mess. He told me how his father's failed gamble had sunk Sterling into debt. Olivia's father offered a bailout, on the condition that Julian become engaged to Olivia. The family, on the brink of collapse, had no choice. But I never expected her to team up with outsiders and steal company secrets. Julian's knuckles blanched around the steering wheel. By the time I caught on, it was too late. To keep her from leaking everything, I had to play the devoted fiancé. That video, I had someone film it. I needed evidence. My heart felt clawed out of my chest. He'd lived under that crushing weight alone, saying nothing. Then why marry me? I asked the last, most important question. The car stopped at a red light. Julian turned, eyes locked on mine, deep, tender, wounded. Because I love you. He swallowed. I have for years. The kid who trotted after me calling me big bro, Julian, who threw her skinny arms around me when my dog died, who flew halfway across the world alone to study architecture. Each sentence made my heart quake. Serena, you're the one I've always wanted. Only you. Neon city lights blurred outside the windows. Tears flooded my eyes when the final words left his mouth. The truth didn't make life easier. An invisible wall still stood between us, built from years of hurt and misunderstanding. Julian said about learning how to be a husband. He tracked my cycle and left antacid tablets, brown sugar packs, and heating pads on the nightstand. He cleared his evenings, rushing home to eat with me. He blow-dried my hair clumsily, fingers tentatively tentative, as if every strand were priceless silk. The kinder he was, the harder the knot in my chest became. I didn't know how to answer his softness. One night I came home late and found him in the kitchen, white t-shirt, ridiculous pink apron, waging war with a simmering pot. Steam pinked his cheeks. A blister swelled on his finger. "Julian," I whispered, wrapping my arms around him from behind, "you don't have to do this." His body stiffened. "Serena." His voice was husky. "I know how much you've done." I mumbled into his back. "But I need time." "Okay." He turned, pulling me in, chin resting on my head. "I'll wait as long as it takes." That weekend he drove me to Willowbrook. At the far end of the Gallop Lane stood an unfinished glass greenhouse, its frame sweeping upward like butterfly wings poised for flight. It was Metamorphosis, my senior year concept project, my proudest design, brought to life. "I built it for you." Julian's arms circled me from behind, voice tight with nerves. "Do you like it?" Sunlight flared off the glass. Tears flared in my eyes. He'd remembered a dream I'd almost forgotten. "And here," he pointed to the empty plot beside it, "whenever you're ready, we'll build our house. You design, I'll construct." I rose on tiptoe and kissed him. Deal. 6 months later, inside our new home, Metamorphosis, I held the freshly printed sonogram. Julian was on a video conference, brows pinched in concentration. He'd never looked sexier. I tiptoed in and slid the printout under his gaze. He blinked, lifted it, froze. On screen, a VP droned. "Sterling, are you there?" Julian shot up so fast his chair screeched. He rounded the desk, knelt, pressed his ear to my still flat belly. I'm going to be a dad." His voice cracked. I smiled through tears. "Congratulations, Sterling." He scooped me into dizzying spins, shouting like a kid, "I'm gonna be a dad, Serena. I'm gonna be a dad." The executives on the call stared, speechless. That night he lay curved around me, palm resting protectively on my stomach. "Serena," he murmured, lips brushing my ear, "tonight I'm not wearing a belt." I squealed, slapping his chest. "Behave." He caught my hand, kissed my knuckles, laughing low. Moonlight poured over us. I studied the relaxed lines of his face and knew every misunderstanding had merely underlined how much we mattered to each other. Thank heaven we hadn't missed our chance. Thank heaven my boy had finally come home.